want to?
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
It's catwalk.
So you want me to walk back there too?
I see some.
Yeah,
To
we
make
might as
sure.
well.
Okay.
Just-
Test.
Yes, okay, we're good.
It's on. It is on.
Good evening.
Hello, did you have a nice vacation? Couple of days?
Got to hold that baby in New Jersey. Oh, she's just
They smell so good, and
Oh, she's
they're so soft, their skin.
No updates. Why are you updating? No.
You'll be good before.
Maybe. Don't turn it off. Computer wants to-
And their little feet.
Oh, she's just.
So we got stairs, we can only still on her from her spot.
But it was
What's the name?
Geneva Maria. So she's named after my wife's mother,
Oh.
passed away 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and one of her aunts on the other side. So, yes,
You don't hear Geneva too often.
Geneva. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's the name's grown on us.
Geneva.
Yeah, Geneva Maria.
Geneva. Can't figure out what that is in Spanish. Geneva. It's not Genoveva.
It's a German name. It's
Geneva. Everything has its
translation.
translation.
Yes,
Geneva.
absolutely.
Geneva?
Geneva.
Maybe that's the way they pronounce it. Geneva.
Interesting. Short for us.
They don't know. They mentioned Jenny, but yeah, we don't know. So we were all like Geneva, maybe Geneva.
Yeah.
Just,
Isn't it exciting, the pure grass?
Just married. It's so exciting. Yeah, we're lucky we worked with a great grant writer that got us the CalServes grant. Now she's working on the SWP grant.
Well, that's good to know because he needs to know that we do have people inside that are doing the work.
Yeah, it's our contracted grant writer that we use. And
No, but that's
yeah,
that's okay.
yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I requested her for this next big grant because she's lucky. She's good at what she does.
Well, it's the wording.
Yeah.
It's just knowing what. It's just like anything. It's just what the other ones are expected to receive.
Yeah.
Hello, Miss. Hello. I'm enjoying these. Seems like we're all by ourselves right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, the opposite way in the traffic.
I mean,
Now we got to close our windows because
yeah, there was a fire going on over there by Concord, close to Concord.
yeah,
It was in between.
the next round, there's no.
Should be video right now. Well, people can hear it now. Do you want me to start the stream? Or,
Superintendent,
Oh, good. Good evening, how are you?
I'm doing well. How's everyone doing?
Good. We're gonna start the meeting with you, Antonio. That makes a quorum.
Got it. Okay.
Okay,
That sounds
ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to start this meeting for the Antioch Unified School District. It's now 6:06. We have a quorum with Antonio on the speakerphone. The idea, we're going to be going into closed session.
Establish the quorum.
Yeah,
Yep,
please,
okay.
would you please call us?
Trustee Hack, Trustee Lathan,
Here.
Trustee Lewis, Vice President Rocha,
Here?
President Hernandez.
Here.
Okay. At this time, we're going into closed session. Okay, you can join us. Any minute.
This is the first time he hasn't to 1,100 kids. Especially that first one, because the freshmen don't know how to behave. They're dressed, everybody's dressed super casual. It's just.
fast. Or you want to close the meeting out?
No, I want to do it before.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, it's Antonio.
Hi, you're on. We're getting ready to do call to order.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, ready? Okay, sorry to hold you up. At this time, we're calling the meeting to order at 7:10, and we will have a roll call. I will say that we, just for your information, we have our chair on the phone, so he will be participating on the meeting, and we will be doing roll calls on any action items so he could be included. I will report on the closed session as soon as we get through.
Okay. Trustee Hack, Trustee Lathan,
Here.
Trustee Lewis,
Present.
Vice President Rocha,
Here.
President Hernandez.
Here.
Okay. Now that we're established, I'm going to report on the closed session. Let's hope I get this correct because my fellow board members will let me know. A is public employee discipline, dismissal, etc. The answer there is no formal action taken. We gave direction to Dr. Martinez to continue on working on this matter. B is to public employee appointment, acting superintendent. We gave, the board is giving him the continue in his role up to now, and there's action item in the in our agenda to take care of his timing that he's been as an acting superintendent. C is the understanding that the group has decided that the board president will work with the, it says here, excuse me, C says board gave direction to agency designation Matthew Darlington to work with board president to look at the possibility of developing a list of possible interim superintendents in the near future. And that was the three things that happened in closed session. Am I correct? I got approval. Thank you. Okay, so we already established we're going to do the flag salute. Before I do the flag salute, I thought we would, and you would see that we have flags in front because it is 9/11 and we have all remember those days, and it's been 23 years. But there's been a lot of information on it, and it is sad, and we do want to take, I wanted to read something before we go into this meeting. I found this on the Facebook, and it says, on this night, 23 years ago, 246 people went to sleep in preparation for their morning flights. 2,606 people went to sleep in preparation for work in the morning tomorrow. 343 firefighters went to sleep in preparation for their morning shift. 6 police officers went to sleep in preparation for the morning patrol. 8 paramedics went to sleep in preparation for the morning shift of saving lives. None of them saw past 10 o'clock a.m. on September 11, 2001. In one single moment, life may never be the same. So as you live and enjoy the breath of today and tonight before you go to sleep in preparation of your life tomorrow, kiss the ones you love, snuggle a little tighter, and never take 1 second of your life for granted. I just wanted to read that, I think. And so at this time, in recognizing the people that have passed on, saving us, will we just take a few seconds? Would you time us? And pray for them. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Flag salute. Would you take us to a flag salute? Okay. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, now, we have, remember, this is my first meeting. I haven't been doing this in a long time, so I'm just getting used to this. The next thing we have is, first of all, I have this, but this comes in under public comment. So we have the superintendent's report.
3D, approval of board minutes for the regular.
Oh,
Board
thank
of
you.
Education. 3D.
3D, thank you, yes. Okay, a motion was made to approve the board meeting of August 21st.
I move approval.
Second, can I have a roll call?
Trustee Lathan,
Yes.
Trustee Lewis,
Yes.
Vice President Rocha,
Yes?
President Hernandez.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, Superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you, Vice President Rocha, and for those words of remembrance on 9/11. Additionally, I thought it important to mention that last week we are reminded again how tenuous life is as more school shootings across the nation led news stories for several days. These situations remind each of us that safety is everyone's business. And if you see something, if you hear something that just seems as though it's not right, please take appropriate actions to support the safety of everyone. Yesterday, we had more than 500 students participate in the Historically Black Colleges and Universities Fair held at Deer Valley High School. Many of our students were able to score scholarships, receive acceptances to schools, and in some instances, receive full ride scholarships. There were individuals representing 35 HBCU schools during Tuesday's annual fair. All AUSD high schools were joined by neighboring districts, including Pittsburgh and Liberty Union. And lastly, the district is initiating and conducting a community needs assessment and is holding a number of focus groups for members of the community. There's information on our district webpage. The Assistant Director of Athletics and Community Engagement, Ms. Ingalls, is orchestrating this, and so it's another way that we're trying to get information from our community. So we ask the public to please take a look at the website, find the meeting that is appropriate for you. There's morning meetings and afternoon meetings and other ways to engage, just trying to get more information. And that's the report for the night. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Dr. Martinez, more information about what the focus groups, what are they for again?
Community needs assessment, what our community believes we should need and support across all of our schools as a district. It's just another way to gather information as we're trying in ed services to determine what other things that we should be focusing on. So it's just an open process of gaining information from.
And how will that be connected to the equity audits? Because that was part of what the equity audits did.
Dr. Wisely, can you add a little bit?
So this community engagement, these focus groups will help kind of lay the foundation so we can apply for a larger community schools grant. So we're really excited to get started. We feel like we'll be a good candidate, and we're looking forward to hopefully securing that grant once we're through this process.
I just want to mention, when we talk about grants, we're excited because the peer group received $1.5 million to work, and we were one of 6 or 8 schools that were selected in the state, or, I mean, nationally wise, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, through the Children's Partnership, Antioch High School is being recognized as a peer demonstration school for their peer advocates program. Yes, one of 6 in our state right now, so we're very excited to, lead the way with this peer advocacy group.
Yeah, and so I think this further demonstrates our position as we should be considering sort of exploring the opportunity for hiring a sort of a standardized grant writer. And an example of that is if we think about looking at singular grants as opportunities, that's great. But if we can develop a database that would allow us to sort of do cross-sectional sort of analysis of what it is we're actually doing, that then makes us more attractive and more competitive for some of those larger grants like the community schools grants, as well as others. And so if we look at some of those schools that are a little more innovative, school districts that are a little more innovative, there's a centralized way for them to collect information, report it out, and then analyze it to say where they're strong, where they're weak, and where they can improve. So,
Did you not say there was another grant that was given to us as well by the same?
Yeah, so the grant writer who helped us secure the Children's Partnership grant also helped us secure the CalServes grant, and she's now also working with our CTE team on the Strong Workforce grant, which is a pretty significant portion of funds. So we've been lucky to continue to work with the same grant writer from the company that we contract with.
Okay, so that's on a contract basis. Okay, our next item here is the school report. It's our high school students representative report. Do we have, good?
Yes, good evening, Board. We have 2 wonderful students from Bidwell High School.
Oh, Bidwell.
Isabella Ippolito is a senior. She's a leader on the campus. And we also have Michaela Thomas, who's a junior. She's also going to be joining the leadership program this year. And ladies, let's go ahead and take our seats. And they're going to be sharing information about student activities, key initiatives. There's so many amazing things going on the campus, and we're certainly proud of our students for leading that work.
Good evening, Board of Education and members of the community. My name is Isabella Polito, and I'm here representing Bidwell Continuation High School. Student activities information. 11 of our students attend the Historically Black Colleges and Universities Fair held on Deer Valley High School campus Tuesday, September 10th. Our civic engagement class is currently engaged in a community project where students collect donations to make quilts and comfort bags for children in need within the community. The project is named As Snug as a Bug Bags. The class has also been discussing a debate on whether or not American government should ban TikTok. The debate explored the ongoing controversy between safety and privacy, which gave us a chance to think critically about both sides of this complex issue. Bidwell will receive a special visit from the Contra Costa Elections Committee this Thursday. They will meet with classes and talk about the importance of civic duty, emphasizing why it's important to stay informed, involved in our democracy. They will also walk students through registering to vote, which will empower many of us who are about to turn 18. Student achievement information. Before enrolling at Bidwell, many students face challenges with poor attendance and low grades. However, with the support provided by our staff, Bidwell will now boast an average attendance rate of 88%. Additionally, around 69% of our students are regularly recognized for their academic achievements by earning a place on the honor roll and distinguished honor roll list. The award ceremony will take place on October 25th, where we will honor students for their academic achievements, attendance, and most improvement throughout the quarter, among other accomplishments. The highest honor, the Canone Award, is presented to the student who best exemplifies the qualities outlined in the school's expected school-wide learning results. Academies Linked Learning Special Programs information. The CTE Career and Technical Education Consumer Service course equips Bidwell students with essential skills and knowledge related to customer service, personal finance, and hospitality. This training prepares them for a variety of careers in industries such as retail, healthcare, tourism, enhancing their employment career readiness upon graduation. Bidwell is filled with opportunities for us to engage with our learning mindful ways. We are proud to share our progress with you today.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much. In fact, your teacher's that's the teacher that's being looked at as the teacher of the year, right?
Yes, the leadership teacher is Miss Vicknair, and she's being looked at for County Teacher of the Year. She's in the running.
And I think she's the one that's involved in this Snug as a Bug group, because she leads your class and you're sewing away, because I've seen you. Making the patches for our families.
We make lots of photos.
Yes, I know. Thank you very much.
Vice President Rocha, I
Yes,
want to
go
make
right
a comment. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. Great job. And I love that you all have the CTE, or Career and Technical Education program, around consumer services. I've said this multiple times, though, and this isn't for you, but for the adults. We need additional ones, because consumer services, that's great, love it. You don't have to have a CTE course to do all of that. And so just thinking of more lucrative type CTE courses for young people at Bidwell. They have short ones still in technology and other areas, so that they can actually find and have lucrative paying jobs, in addition to the hospitality and other areas. So that would be my ask, is that we really focus on expanding, because otherwise it becomes an equity issue. You go to a continuation school and you get to learn how to be in hospitality, versus you go to Antioch High or Deer Valley High, or, the medical high school, and you get these other type CTE courses, which are much more lucrative.
So Trustee,
Go ahead.
can I sort of follow up on that? So part of one of my many hats that I've worn over the last couple of years is I worked with folks returning home from different places. And so one of the organizations I can share it, I won't mention the name here, but I can share it with Dr. Wisely, and it focuses on preparing young people up to the age of about 25, I think it is the cutoff, for careers in database administration. You don't need a college degree, but it's specifically focused on people who have had different experiences in life and getting them on the track to get into tech. So we can have that conversation after the meeting.
Okay, so we're moving forward, and the next thing that we have is public comment, and it's on 6A, individuals to address the board regarding items not on the agenda. I have Aisha Hall. Just to let you know that we'll hear you, but most of the time we can't give any comment, that we can refer things.
I have people hear me all the time, but they still don't do anything.
Okay.
So I come to you today because of my twins. I can see from how the employee walked out and discussed with how you guys are handling things with the whole person that's on leave or like paid leave or whatever, and then you're going to put somebody else in the place of someone that's similar to the person that we just got rid of for superintendent, that who doesn't really care about the students when you come in there with complaints. I've talked to Ms. Wisely. I got so many emails over the years of me asking for help, begging for help with my twins. Me not getting responses, they taking down my complaints, and they just don't do nothing with it. I had to make them tell me what grade levels my kids are at because they're in have an IEP. I didn't even know my son and my daughter was on the spectrum because when they tested, they never told me. I had to tell them I want someone from the outside to test my kids, and this was like 2 Decembers ago. And I found out, and I'm saying, okay, that's why, he's not getting it. That's why, this is happening with her. And if I tell you the grade level my kids are at, your mouth will hit the floor and roll up under the desk. I had to someone told me they have to tell me, they did not want to tell me in the IEP meeting what my kids' grade levels are at. And when I tell them that, when I go to the LCAT meeting, and it's crazy, when you're a black woman, everybody else will speak up for their people, but we ask for something, it's a problem. Everybody got to say something. Well, that's not my experience. That's you. I'm telling you that when my kids go to tutoring at their school, it's so many kids to one person that's in there to tutor them that is no help. So you're telling me you have another tutoring program for parents and the students, one-on-one, English is second language, and you have funding for that. I said, okay, how about we put some money over here for these kids over here because they're failing too. My kid's not the only one. Across the board, no matter what background they have or the color of their skin, they're struggling too. Can we get some of that money? But it's like you have to comply. Just go along with it. Even people that look like me telling me that in so many ways, or they step and be distant from me because they get paid by the hand. You understand what I'm saying? I get asked all the time. I stepped away from the political scene because I was into the arena of that when they were babies. So I had to walk away from it, but I'm about to get back into it because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of my kids. I go with complaints. My son got a teacher aide, that's like a UR supervisor, went off on my son this summer at the summer school. She was a teacher. They had us in the teacher role, teacher assistant's role. She went off on my child and then came in going off on me. I had to start recording it for her to get out of my face. So I asked for help for my kids to get, like I said, since you guys have failed my kids and you got all this money for my kids over the years, send my kids to private school.
Sorry.
You know what they do? Oh no, my son is so fed up, he don't even want to go to school no more. He tells them, because they have IEPs, they have everything written, they have the kitchen sink in the IEPs, so we have to really do it really good this time.
Ms. Hall?
Do you not know that they still won't get them their services? They could use electronics. You know what they do? Tell them they can't use it.
Ms. Hall will have to continue on.
No, they next. I'm going to continue.
Okay. The next one is Denzel Jackson. Go right ahead.
Do you know how I'm tired of this? Not learning how to read, learning how to do anything in life. Do you know how everything about this school, they're not even willing helping anyways. They're not teaching me how to read, teaching me how to write, do nothing. they're just waiting to after I turn 11th grade and pass on, like trying to teach me into the curve. And the other kids are fed up too. Like in my classes, they're fed up too of every subject. They're all fed up. I'm getting tired. I really am. No.
Okay, go ahead. And talk about how people bully you all the time and they don't do nothing about it.
They don't do nothing about it. I've been bullied so many times. I don't know
Because
how.
he can't read.
Yeah. They don't do nothing about it. I just want to go to private school. At least they'll teach me better. I don't want to go to school anymore.
Okay, let me finish up, baby. Thank you. So when my kids got bullied all last year, I would go in, talk to the principal. She's not there no more because I guess she felt like she couldn't control how I wanted her to manage how to deal with people that's bullying my kids. Because, you know, kids being bullied, the suicide rate is very high now. So when people are getting bullied and you continue to let it go on and you don't talk to none of the parents, you don't, I said, okay, can we sit down with the parents and sit down and talk about it? Yeah, so they get bullied all the time because they're different. My kids are kids. They don't go around cussing. They pants don't sag. They don't go around saying the N-word. That's not a part of their vocabulary. I don't play that. I'm an old school mother. So my kids, they don't mix with other kids. They to themselves. So people make jokes, talk about how my son's voice sounds because he has vocal paralysis because they were preemies at 25 weeks. So they get teased constantly. And then when I talk to them, I send emails. And they even got a teacher. She's literally Miss G in Guerrero. Oh my God. Miss G, she is horrible teacher. And I keep saying she's good in theory, but in reality, she's not a good teacher. Because she's not in the realm of teaching these kids. How you gonna sit in an IEP meeting the whole time we did IEPs, the whole last year, and you don't remember what you put in the IEPs? You deny my kids by state law? So my next stop is Sacramento because no one is listening to me.
Okay, can we have Brooke?
Come on.
Brooke Jackson?
I know.
I'm too nervous.
I know. Go ahead.
Okay, like every single time that we're doing like work and stuff, like independent work, I asked the teacher to help me help me spell something, and then she doesn't she's sound it out or using a dictionary. You can't use your phone or anything. So, yeah.
So go ahead.
Sorry.
Thank you, baby. So if they don't have those tools, what are you supposed to do? Build it. I know what it's like not to be educated. I went through the whole time of being in the school district in Richmond, California, not being educated. When I went back, after I had my oldest son, who's 26, I went back to school because I knew I had to know something for him. I had to do something for him and my nieces. So I went back to school. When I went back, I had 3rd, 4th grade education. So I know what it is. That's why I've been fighting. I fought for him. He's going to school for engineering. He was in Brentwood. I asked, can we stay in Brentwood? Brentwood was willing to accept Brooke and Denzel to stay there. They denied my request. And then Denzel, he get the school to prison pipeline while he's at Fremont Elementary. Constantly. I would come there, he's on the ground, and the police are standing over my child. Constantly. I'm like, what did he do? Well, he didn't want to get on a bus. So you called the police? Are you serious? We had a sit-down meeting. They tried to gang up on me. And they thought I was recording the meeting. They said, we're going to cancel this meeting because they think she's recording. If I was, why would you have a problem with that? Which I wasn't. But why would you? That made me think, I need to start recording these meetings. Because why would you have a problem with me recording a meeting about my son being railroaded to being into the prison system? So I'm coming here today. I was asked by another leader in the community to come in and help Antonio Hernandez when he had to try to recall whatever trying to do with him. I said, what did he do for the black community? Well, he works along with Dr. Jag. I said, okay, what, like, 'cause I see what he do for his community. What is he doing for my community? For my kids? People that look like us that's coming up in this world. Everybody else get to ask what they want in this society, but we can't individually. And I'm tired of it. My kids matter. I'm begging you guys for help. And don't go along, please. Take the size of your staff. That man walked out. I went out there to talk to him to know why he walked out. He told me why. Because they did foul reports, whatever he called it, and they were all denied. So you're going to put him in the same position as the last person that came in here? Are you serious? They have the same old? Nah, come on, you got to do better than that. You got to give our kids better than this. We can't have it no more. Look what's happening. Look what we're producing. I have a retired teacher who will go back and teach. She won't do it no more because the kids curse all in front of her and say the N-word. Y'all don't discipline these kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Thank you. Okay, under item B, individuals to address the board regarding items not on the agenda by district employees. I have Amanda Freitas, and then I have Amanda Dagan afterwards.
Good evening.
Amber.
I wanted to start this evening by thanking Trustee Dr. Lathan and Trustee Rocha for responding and showing concern, acknowledging my concerns that I've brought forth. I was reflecting on our AUSD mission, which is to ensure all scholars learn at grade level or above. And my question is, what is the district doing to support us in that mission? Because I, as a classroom teacher, cannot do it alone. We have so many needs in our classroom, especially post-COVID. We need more instructional and bilingual aids in our classroom. We have students who are throwing chairs and other objects, and we have no support for those students. We just have the principal, vice principal come and take them. My daughter is in TK. She has a kid in her class throwing chairs, knocking things over. I don't feel safe with her in that classroom, and we're not doing anything to support the teacher. Bilingual aids. I teach kindergarten now. I have 10, that's almost half of my class, that are ELs, an EL1. 4 kids in my class do not speak English. I'm doing my best, but I'm not fluent in Spanish. I know in grades 3 and above, we offer a translation iPad. What are we doing for our K2 students? Why don't we have more bilingual aid support for them? We have 1 district paid bilingual aid support for our English-only classes, and we have 1 that we were able to work into our school site budget, but our budgets for our school site are not big enough. SPED. I don't know why I continue to be surprised, but I continue to be surprised at how we cannot give students the services that are in their IEPs. 5 weeks into the school year, my son has gone to 0 speech sessions. I have a student in my class who is supposed to go twice weekly. She has not once been pulled. I can't understand what she's saying. She can mimic me just fine, but if I ask her a question, she just repeats it back to me. She needs some help. She also needs some support in the classroom. I'm lucky that I only have 22 because of class averages, and it's still hard to get all 22 of them where they need to be. We need to do a better job of tracking our students for SPED services. My mom teaches TK. She only knew that one of her kids needed services because she saw it marked on her attendance, IEP. Nobody gave her an IEP. Nobody reached out to her and told her that the student needed services. And that's a common theme among teachers at my school this year, is we don't know that our students need these services. Nobody's reaching out to us to get them their services, and it's unacceptable. This is why a few years ago I was called during my Christmas break to testify for one of my previous students who was suing the district. We're opening ourselves to lawsuits because we're not compliant to what we owe our students. And it's not fair to them. And then they constantly don't achieve, and then we're constantly wondering why our students aren't achieving what they need to achieve. Technology. I don't understand why the district can't support us more with that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Okay, Amber? Amber Dagan?
Hi.
I am a first grade teacher at Fremont, and I would like to talk about the slogan, all scholars will learn at grade level or above. I want that more than anything. I want my students walking out of my classroom on grade level. That is super important to me. It is my job to make sure, and I take it very seriously. But the district routinely has policies that prevent me from being able to do that. I currently have a student in my classroom throwing chairs, throwing desks. I've had to evacuate my classroom twice now, and I have repeatedly begged for help and been ignored. So now I'm here, asking for help. I shouldn't have to come to a board meeting and beg for help. I shouldn't have to do that. But here I am, because I care about not just the student throwing chairs who is crying for help. That is a cry for help. And I am not a mental health professional. I do not have a licensure in mental health. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. That is a behavior that is beyond the scope of what I can provide for that student. He needs help. I can't give him that help alone. But here I am, the lone adult in that classroom, expected to somehow teach the whole of my class and also help a student who is engaging in, frankly, unsafe behaviors. And it's not as simple as when I have to evacuate my classroom, it's not as simple as, well, let's come back and we're just going to do math now. The rest of the students in my class are traumatized by that. I have to reestablish safety because their safety is important and they don't feel safe anymore. They just watched a student, their peer, doing something unsafe. Now they're feeling scared and they have every reason to be. Why am I here at a school board begging for help? I have spent all school year, this is September 11th, I've spent all school year begging for help. And now I'm here because I don't know what else to do. You need to help us do our jobs. You cannot stuff our classrooms full of students. I started with 33 students in my classroom. 33. There were so many students in my classroom, I couldn't even get from one end of the room to the other because my classroom is too small. And now I'm supposed to get those scholars on grade level? How? We need instructional aides in our classroom so that I can do my job because I want to do my job. I need help. And what help means is not throwing some classroom management PD on the schedule in November for staff development day. That's not help. That's insulting. We need more adults on campus to help address the behaviors. The behaviors since the pandemic especially have grown exponentially. And if you haven't been in the classroom since the pandemic, you don't know. You don't know. Please listen to us when we say we need help.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. That's all of the messages that I have at this point. Moving on, we have district reports, none. Hearings is the levy and collection of level 1 school facilities fee. And somebody will be coming forward.
Yes.
School Board, Vice President Rocha, President Hernandez. I'd like to introduce Schoolworks. We have Ken Reynolds and Ryan Reynolds were gracious enough to come out and present our developers fee study tonight, and so I will turn it over to Ken.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have a quick presentation for you.
Is that sound coming through?
Can you hear it? It's working
There
now.
you go.
So good evening. I have a quick presentation to review the findings of our study, and also the main purpose of this public hearing is to get any public comments on the study. Which
Right.
do I need to point it?
Don't I have to open a hearing after he speaks?
Yes. Great, thank you. Yeah, this is our first year doing the study for you, so I wanted to go over just a few basics in our
Good.
information. Developer fees are a common source of funding for school facility projects. And they're basically a fee that is collected upon the construction of either residential or commercial or industrial buildings. And the level of fees is set by the state allocation board in January every 2 years. And the last time they did an update was this past January in 2024. And they set the rate at $5.17 for residential projects per square foot and 84 cents for commercial industrial projects. And that was a 7.84% increase compared to the rates that they approved in 2022. And so these adjustments that they do is basically to keep up with inflation in school construction costs. So this is just a chart that sort of shows you a visual of those rates over time. Again, every 2 years they look at, what's the cost of school construction compared to the prior 2 years. And so we can see we've had more significant inflation these last 6 years compared to prior years. And so the reasons we do a study are multiple. One of them is actually keeping up with changes in the laws. And so every time we do a study, we're always keeping current. Most districts do them every 2 to 4 years so they can keep up with the cost of inflation. And currently in our studies, right, we're looking at local student yield rates. So how many students do we anticipate out of each home? Another component that we are always tracking is, right, how much development is occurring and what are our capacities to be able to house those students, and what types of facility projects can we do with our fees, and what types of needs do we have. And one of the newer requirements is trying to make a list of some of the planned projects that we plan to do. So in our calculations to determine, right, what fee is justified for your district, it's very closely linked to the state allocation board's school facility program that provides matching funds for projects for both new construction when you're building something new and modernization when you're updating older buildings. And so some of the key components that the calculations look at is, right, what size homes are being built. And so we look at the historic construction, and that number in this study came out to be 2,309 square feet. So pretty decent sized homes. We looked at your modernization needs. As buildings turn 25 years old, right, they need to be updated and refreshed, and the state provides some matching funds. And so developer fees are a common source of those matching funds. We looked at how many students we get out of each new home, and that is projected to be 0.4332. Statewide, we used to average about 0.7 students. Of course, that was about 30 or 40 years ago, and the numbers have dropped over time. So at 0.43, it seems low compared to what our state used to be, but it's a pretty good average for the regional Bay Area numbers. So it's still a healthy value. We look at whether there's space available in our existing schools to house your students. And then we also look at the overall cost of all the needs, and we divide that by the projected square footage of new homes being built to determine the overall need. And it came out to $6.73. So that exceeded the state current maximum of $5.17. And so we found you were justified in collecting the current level of $5.17. And for the commercial industrial, that's a similar analysis but slightly different. As new buildings are built for commercial and industrial projects, right, they generate jobs. And we look at how many employees are housed in those new buildings and what portion of those students end up in your schools. So it's basically looks at how many employees are generated by a project per square foot of that building. And there's all sorts of different ratios for different types of projects. And so we did find you were justified in collecting the new value of 84 cents per square foot, with the exception of rental self-storage. Those types of projects have a lot of square footage and very few employees. And so for those types of projects, we were only justified at a rate of 5 cents per square foot. And then on this slide, we just talk about how can I use developer fees, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Obviously, we can build new schools with the fees. We can expand our existing schools, build some new classrooms. A lot of districts are going in and replacing old portables with brand new buildings. That's another allowed use. If we're just doing our modernization projects, again, that's an allowed use because the state requires us or even allows us to use our developer fees as matching funds for our modernization projects. Of course, if we need to build new schools and we need land, that's allowed. If our school sizes have been growing over time, especially with all the TK grade now, and we need more land to add to our existing schools, that's allowed. And then, of course, it's not just the construction. All the planning costs that go into our facility projects is also an allowable cost. And then finally, the timeline. Later on in your agenda, you will have a resolution to consider to approve the study we prepared for you. With approval of that, these new rates go into effect 60 days after today. And so the new rates would not be effective until November 10th. And these studies do not technically expire. You become more liable the older a study gets, just because some of the assumptions used and some of the data used may have changed over time. And so we do recommend doing a new study every 2 to 4 years. The next time the state will adjust for inflation, they will consider that in January of 2026. And then we did a quick estimate based on what we believe the construction rate is going to be for projects or within your community. And our projections estimate an average of about $1 million per year is collected in developer fees based on these new rates and what we see construction appears to be over the next 5 years. Of course, right, we don't control construction, so that we could have some better years. Depending on the economy, we could have some worse years. But that's just our estimate of what your likely revenues are. So it's not significant compared to the overall needs, but it does help. Every dollar helps with their school facility needs. And with that, I'd like to be able to answer any questions and then also get any public comments.
Now, I understand I have to open the hearing on this. At this point, do I open it? Okay. This hearing is open on this issue concerning collection of Level 1's facility fees.
Mr. Reynolds?
Go ahead.
I had one clarifying question on slide, I think it's 4 or 5. So the commercial fee that you mentioned, and so I wasn't clear on, can you go into a little bit more detail? Specifically, one of the things that I'm looking for is, you said that some of those employment opportunities would be given to the staff and their children. That's what I heard. I don't know if that was.
Yeah, you probably misheard that just slightly. As new buildings are built for commercial, right, whether it's a new Walmart or a McDonald's, right, any type of facility like that is built, it's going to create jobs. And as those jobs are created, there's an opportunity for more enrollment in your schools because of the creation of those jobs. And so that's what our study looks at is, right, how many employees are generated, how many of those employees are likely to have children, and how many of those children are likely to be enrolled in your schools, and how many of those employees are likely to live in your district. So we look at all those types of factors to try to do a calculation of what the financial impact is of those construction projects.
Okay.
And then I have a question, but I think it may be better for district staff. Ms. Robbins isn't here, and so I'd imagine she would be the person to ask, but I'm going to ask anyway because maybe someone else knows. On page 20 of the actual report, the 2024 Developer Fee Justification Study report, it says that the district plans to use the developer fees on the addition of relocatable buildings. I'd imagine those are like portables. At John Muir Elementary, Orchard Park, and Dozier Libby Medical Schools. Can you tell me why those schools were chosen as recipients of the the developer fees, correct? Is that what that means?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Those sites were the ones that were nearest to our new developments and had requirements with space needed for a number of students, with additional TK, and the number of TK students that we have at Muir, without having a gymnasium facility at Orchard Park, being a K through 8th grade school. Those are the main reasons that those were the sites that are selected, and we're also, with the bond money, being able to move forward with some of our other projects as well.
Okay, so just to be clear, the reason why these schools were chosen is because of the location of the newly developed homes. The homes that will be developed are more in those areas, and so those homes will probably have students, and those students would then go to those schools, John Muir, Orchard Park, and Dozier Libby.
Right, and again, as one of the newest requirements of the studies is to make sure we identify what your planned uses of those funds are. However, just because that's what your planned uses are, does not restrict you to only using it on those projects. If you have some other critical needs come up, you are allowed to use the developer fees on other allowable projects.
Yes, so then the question is, who made the decision for those particular, because I'm just thinking about Fremont, I'm thinking about the other schools that need a lot of work, and I'm going, who made this decision and why?
Well, with Fremont, I know that's one of ours that's slated on the bond for a new facility. And so with that new facility coming, that will add additional space for the students and the facility, as it is definitely one of our 4 oldest sites in the district. And so part of that is based on a bond measure and where those finances will be headed and what plans we have with new gymnasium at Antioch Middle School and facilities at Park Middle School as well.
So, Dr. J, can I ask a sort of
Sure.
a supplemental question to that? So, I guess the question that I had there is, we do have schools that are sort of impacted. And so this may not be appropriate for you, but in terms of the district, did we consider that in terms of expansion when we're looking at it? Because again, those projected, additions to staffing and potential students in those schools, we know for sure that there are schools that exist that have a number of students that are kind of over their capacity.
Absolutely. And
their existing capacity.
I personally cannot give you a definitive answer on that, as I wasn't part of that planning.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's what it feels like. They give us a recommendation based on their study, but I think we should be talking to district folks about the decisions. I went to Mission Elementary School the other day. There's a lot of work that needs to be done there, like these poor babies.
Yeah, and that's why we're hoping to have the developer fee study pass. It will impact all the sites, and I misspoke when I said it's based on the area where there's new development. It's based on those new developments provide the funding for a district, and then from there, then that goes through the original projects. We just wanted to make sure that we show, we are allocating this and we are working on these projects where the Orchard Park and the Dozier Libby and the John Muir projects. But that does not mean that we are limited to use these developer fees for those only. It will go towards all of our sites in our school district and will help us with modernization, which is desperately needed at most of our sites.
Yeah. And you say most of our sites. Are you a staff member here?
Yes, I'm sorry. I forgot to introduce myself.
Oh,
I
I thought you were
apologize.
part of
Hi,
the-
I'm Josh Eisenbarger. I'm the Acting Director of Maintenance Operations and Facilities.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now, we opened it, now, can we close this?
Are there any public comments?
Anybody from the public, and we've had our questions?
Antonio?
Antonio, you're all right?
Oh, sorry.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so at this time, we're closing the hearing, and we're going forward now.
We have to vote on it.
Yeah, it doesn't say action, but I need
No
to
action on
have,
this.
no, just the resolution. Yeah, I was going by that, it says no action there. Okay, under public presentations, there's none. Consent items, okay, the consent items are from A to all the way. Is there anything
W.
in particular that you would like to pull out, all the way to W?
Yes.
What would you like to pull?
G on the consent calendar, surplus and obsolete items. And there are 67 pages of laptops and desktops and printers, but mostly laptops that are considered obsolete. And so I know I've asked this question before about items that are obsolete, what we're doing with those items. And the response is typically we try to sell them or get rid of them in some kind of way. So just wanted to know, for all of those laptops, are they in good enough condition to give away to our students to use at home?
I don't have the specific answer on these particular laptops, but generally they go through a process of our technology department basically determining that they are not of value to give to students, that they've exhausted their viability given the technology, and so they're not necessarily of value to give to to a student for use. And so the use of, again, process of e-wasting them as need be and per law, we need to make sure and follow that process. Sometimes they are, in essence, sold in lots, I believe, through an auction process as well. But would believe our technology director, if he were here, would say that they are not of good quality to give to students. We have exhausted the ability to maintain these particular devices because our systems don't work with them anymore.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask a follow-up question for that. So I think this situation affords us an opportunity because as earlier we were talking about getting young people into or kiddos into tech. Would it be possible to have some sort of CTE program where we're having the kids refurbish, because then that could sort of spark a potential? Again, like, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what the infrastructure would have to be. I don't know what the criteria is. So, for example, if the computers only use Windows XP, and now we're at Windows 11, the functionality may be different, but that's an opportunity, I think.
We do think it's a really good opportunity, and it's something we're including in our SWP grant. So we're hoping to get some funding so we can have those student internships in our technology department. So it's to be continued.
That's a good point. Thank you. All right, okay, so that's been pulled. Are you okay with that?
Yes,
You want-
10H.
okay. Go ahead, is there another one?
Yeah, 10H donation report.
yeah.
I don't know who these people are, but I'm very grateful to them. Thanks to Carl Rhodes, Marlena Wacker, Virginia Anthony, Cynthia Allen, Cynthia Willer, I think, and Laura Zorner for donating backpacks, school supplies, clothing, T-shirts, and socks to our students. That was item 10H.
Yeah, $4,850, that's quite a bit. Thank you very much. Is there any other one
That's
you'd
it.
like to pull? Okay.
I did want to mention that there was an amendment to item 10L,
Yeah.
the certificated report.
Right. I have it down as an amendment. Anything else? Do you have any? Okay. That was what I was going to pull out was a donation. I thought that was very nice. Okay, so can I have an agreement with an amendment on L, 10L?
I move to approve the consent items A through W, including the amended L.
Thank you.
I second.
Thank you. Been first and second. Can we have roll call?
Yes. Trustee Lathan?
Yes.
Trustee Lewis?
Yes.
Vice President Rocha?
Yes.
President Hernandez?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Now we're moving on to service agreement with Five Rivers. Oops, excuse me. That's the one. I have to move on. Where am I?
11.
11A.
Thank you. Action item. Okay, this is the item that we have to discuss, and this is the approval of the Second Amendment to Rob Martinez employment agreement. So this is a vote needed to continue to be able to financially take care of his time that he has given us. And so we've had this explanation. Is there a vote in favor?
I will move approval.
Is there a second on that approval? I will give it a second. So we have under A, discussion and approval of Second Amendment to Rob Martinez employment agreement, which allows him to get his finances taken care of during this time that he has been acting superintendent.
And so can we make a clarifying point? This is for back pay.
Please, this is for back, all the way up to August.
Yeah.
So, okay, can we have a vote?
Trustee Lathan?
Yes.
Trustee Lewis?
Yes.
Vice President Rocha?
Yes.
President Hernandez?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion has passed. Okay, so now we're going on to my next one here. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit rusty on this because I'm not used to it. Items. We just keep moving on. See, nothing items, information, action for board. That's 12. 13, resolutions for first reading, none. Resolution for immediate action, and that's the levy collection of level 1 school facilities fees. That's number 14A. Okay, now who's taking care of that one?
So this is in response to the developer fees presentation that you just had in the public hearing. So the resolution, in essence, is seeking the approval. Staff is recommending that we adopt resolution to increase the statutory school facility fees. So this is to actually increase the fees.
Okay, so then we need a motion to approve.
Correct.
I move approval.
A
Motion
second.
to approve, there's a second. Can we have a roll call?
Yes. Trustee Lathan?
Yes.
Trustee Lewis?
Yes.
Vice President Rocha?
Yes?
President Hernandez?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried then. Our next item we have is B, Resolution 2024-2532, GAN appropriate limit for 2024-25.
Yes, so I'll make mention of this. Again, this is the adoption to approve the GAN appropriation limit for 24-25. It's a resolution identifying the estimated appropriation limits for the current school year and actual appropriations for the preceding school year. The form GAN is part of the unaudited actuals report. The state has not eliminated the requirement for a separate resolution at this time. The resolution must be submitted to the county office, and so we're asking for your approval so we can do that. If there are specific questions, I believe our accounting manager, Doug Schlueter, is here as well, if there's anything specific that you have questions about. But we're looking for approval for this resolution.
Okay, is there any questions on this item? It's an action item. So that's Resolution 2024-2532, GAN appropriate limit to 2024-25. Can I have a motion?
I move approval.
Okay.
A second.
Okay, it's been approved in second. Can I have roll call?
Trustee Lathan?
Yes.
Trustee Lewis?
Yes.
Vice President Rocha?
Yes.
President Hernandez?
Yes.
Okay. Going to the next one, Resolution 24-2533, authorizing instructors to teach outside a credential authorization for 2024-25 school year.
Yes, good evening, Board. Similar to previous requests, approval of this resolution permits the employees listed in your attachment to teach the applicable class or subject specifically for the 24-25 school year. All of these teachers included do have teaching credentials and permits. They're serving in full-time positions, but they need this additional authorization for a special assignment for the entirety of their assignment or a portion of their teaching assignment this year.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a
I move
motion?
approval.
A second.
Second? Okay, it's been ready for the roll call.
Yes. Trustee Lathan?
Yes.
Trustee Lewis?
Yes.
Vice President Rocha?
Yes.
President Hernandez?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. All right, next one is D. Resolution 24-2534, authorizing provisional internship permits. We've heard of this one before.
Yes, similar request, different people. This authorizes the teachers listed on your attachment to be granted a provisional internship permit, which gives them the ability to teach in the classroom for this school year while they meet their subject matter competency requirements in pursuit of an internship teaching credential.
Okay, so I need approval.
I move approval.
A second.
Good.
Okay.
Go right ahead, roll call.
Okay. Trustee Lathan?
Yes.
Trustee Lewis?
Yes.
Vice President Rocha?
Yes.
President Hernandez?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. All right, going on to 15, resolution there for second reading, none. Board policy for first reading, none. Board policy for second reading, action, none. Information item for general information, none. And so now we're at 19, future agenda items from board members.
Yeah.
So, what would you like?
So I would like to really have a robust conversation around I can't make a real robust conversation around the district hiring can't think.
Search firm.
Not a search firm, but a grant writer.
Oh,
Yes.
grant writer, sorry, I'm getting ahead of you. Go ahead,
Brain, yeah.
for a grant writer,
Mm-hmm.
got it.
And also, last board meeting, I was absent, my apologies, but Trustee Rocha talked about, going and looking at the Army as a possible ROTC possibility. So
We're
I
on
think
hold,
having that
right?
conversation. No, that's for the Air Force, we're on hold.
No, but for the Army, are we going forward?
The Army, we've submitted our application
have.
and we're moving forward with that.
Good.
Thank you.
Good, we might make it.
I would love to see it before.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Trustee, is there something that you'd like to have?
I always want to add stuff, but I'm just really concerned about special education. I know working with the the equity committee that we formed, one of our draft goals that we will be sharing with you all is around special education for the district. And I'm not sure what the conversation looks like. I know they already presented one time, I think, yeah, special education.
Okay. Antonio, is there anything that you would like to have on the agenda?
Nothing right now.
Oh, sorry, the goals,
No, go ahead.
the goals, the draft board goals.
Draft board goals.
Yes,
Okay. I think.
for you all
Maya-
to review.
Maya's taking care of it. Mine was for a selection of a search firm for the superintendent. I'd like to have that report back as to what's available. And my other one would be a reading presentation, because I know we have an excellent person working on it, and last year they made a presentation. I'd like to see what the new year looks like. And my third would be peer-to-peer demonstration grant, but I'm not sure if that they would be ready for it. Maybe later on, you might consider having them as an item for our agenda to hear what they're doing with it, because that's exciting. Okay.
Vice President Rocha.
Go right ahead.
Could I get just a little bit of clarification on the search firm? Again, it would be appropriate for either the board to engage in a conversation. I just want to make sure if there's any direction right now that you're looking to have the district consult or reach out regarding any RFP process, request for a proposal process, or you're not at that juncture at this point?
We're not.
You're just going to have that conversation?
We're going to have the conversation.
Okay, excellent. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I think that's, Antonio, are you in with the same conversation?
Yeah, so we have direction on this.
That's fine. Just wanted to make sure.
Okay. I have RFP, but
Yeah.
it was just a discussion. Okay, so those are the future items. No one to, the past 30 minutes is limit. There wasn't anybody to speak right now. 21, report comments from board members, announcements of any kind.
I can go. The last couple months I've been working with some young people. The program that I mentioned earlier, there's some people that have graduated from AUSD and kind of not really sure about what the direction they wanted to take. I've been spending a lot of time one-on-one with them, and I've gotten maybe about 4 of them in the program that I mentioned earlier. And so they are in the path now to become database administrators. One is going through an IT certification, and what this program does is it provides training, certification, and then an internship, a 6-week internship. Now, I've worked with people in this program up to the age of about 25, I think the cutoff is, and it's led to employment opportunities. So, when we think about opportunities for our young people, obviously in the classroom, it's great, but if you have opportunities for like internships or different things like that, please work with young people, because they may not be able to see themselves doing the job, and this happens quite a bit with the young people that I work with. But once they're in it, they see that they can do it, they excel. So I won't bore you with all the details, but that's just a little bit of the things that I've been doing over the last couple months.
Good. Anything that you'd like to report on, Dr. Latham?
Yes. However, Yes, I will. So every year, I visit schools and walk classrooms with principals, and one of my focus areas this year is understanding how they are using their equity audits to advance the work in their schools. So far, I've been to Belshaw Elementary School and Mission Elementary School, and for Belshaw, they have some really strong areas that they're implementing, and also some structural changes, which is always great to make sure that the change is sustainable. So, for example, they changed their ELA and math blocks so they're uninterrupted, so students aren't pulled out for other services they need during that time, so they're all getting the same instruction and support. They have revamped a PBIS system that includes students earning points to shop at the school store, and a focus on formative assessments so that teachers can track progress in real time. So basically, they're shorter assessments and they're quicker assessments so that teachers can make changes to their instruction or pull small groups, whatever it is. And then also creating a culture of high expectations to make sure that students and staff, have considered themselves scholars. So I'm really impressed by the work that they're doing. We walk classrooms, and I can see some of the work starting to happen in the classrooms. So that was nice. Went to Mission Elementary School, and we will reschedule. I've been a former principal before, and there were some things happening, and the principal and vice principal handled it very well, and we'll have to reschedule. So that's what happens in school sometimes. Also, just special education. I requested a couple of, some months back, probably almost a year back, but some time back around independent education evaluation. So those are when students get IEP tests, so tests to see if they have a disability in some kind of way. And we were getting quite a few every year requests from parents to have outside agencies retest their kids. So basically, they're saying, district, you tested our kid. We don't agree with these findings. We want someone else to do it who doesn't work for the district. And so the district provided in our Friday packet information on how many families are actually requesting this. That costs us a lot of money to do that. And I'm curious about what the reason is behind it, like why parents are seeking these outside independent education evaluations. So there's a pattern, but usually it ranges between 9 or 10 evaluation requests a year, according to the data that I received from 2021, 22, 23. So basically 10 a year. Parents are saying, we want another source. 50% of those are psychoeducational, so basically to see if they qualify for like specific learning disability or something like that. I didn't get what the other 50% was, so that's my question, Ms. Lindsay, if you can get that for me. So I was very curious about that. And most of them, except for 5 to 10%, actually the report from the independent assessment matches with the district's assessment. So that's like, so there's something going on. At least this is the information that I have. And so I'm curious to know then what's happening and why. So just know I'm going to keep probing because it is costing us money. And we do want to make sure parents and students get the right, like if they're feeling like the assessment isn't right, but if it's more likely accurate and aligned with the independent one, there's something we need to do with parents to build trust so they can know that, right? But there's something, I'm not there, but I do feel like there's something underneath the surface that's happening that we need to understand the root cause. So I wanted to report that because it's something I've been asking about.
I think the subject, special education, is a very hard subject for all of us financially as well, because we have a large amount of items to take care of, and we're under law and required to do the special ed at a timely manner. And we're hearing that there is issues concerning that, so we understand that. Maybe we need to get looking into the further, I mean, maybe we need to discuss how it's working, and I agree with you. Special ed is a big issue for us, especially when we have to have so many contractors coming in, and transportation. I saw that one, that was one individual. That's quite a bit.
Yes, and I want to clarify, it's not, because most people know I'm a credentialed SPED teacher too. For me, it's about making sure the kids have what they need and that the families feel comfortable and confident. So it's not just about money as much as it is like, how are we expending people resources? How are we supporting staff? How are we supporting students? So it feels like there needs to be a culture shift in what's happening with our special ed department. We've had teachers come up and share, parents come up and share. Like, we have a finding from the state, so this isn't made up. This is something that's actually happening in real time every day. And I know, because I can hear Dr. Martinez now saying there's a shortage across the country. There is. Like, there is a real shortage. I was one teacher that left special ed to go to general ed, right? Like, it happens. And so I understand that part of it too. And I'm like, what infrastructure and supports and programs can we work with to build up our staff?
I agree with you, Dr. Jag. I'm not saying that the money is an issue that we have to really look at, but it does have some influence in how we manage it. So it's good to see the whole picture, to see how we can help it along the way. And as a mother of a special ed for many, many years, I listened to this child. My child was there. 6th grade, couldn't read, couldn't write. Became a Marine, though. But it's because one teacher took the time to spend 2 years with that person. So I know how it feels to be a mom that feels like there's no end to the issue and there's no help.
And we have to build that.
Yes.
For
Anyway,
every teacher.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're at the end of our meeting, I believe. What?
Antonio.
Oh, Antonio, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You're too
no
quiet.
worries.
You're too quiet.
I'll just be very brief. Just wanted to thank you all for your flexibility as I finish up the 2-day residency portion of my certificate in education, finance. I'll share definitely more details when I'm in person back at our next meeting. But it's been really great so far. They have people here from all over the country, superintendents, board members, district staff from most of the states in the country. So there's been already a lot of learning so far, and I'm excited to bring that back to our school district.
There's the 19th is the workshop that the teachers are all going to be to. We've been invited if we wanted to go. I'm sure you're aware of that, Antonio. So I'm hoping to make it. It'll be from 8 to 3 at the high school, Antioch High School, but I don't know where it's at. And so Conference B. That's all I know. Okay, closing up, we have our next, anything else coming up? I just will announce that these county community partners of health fair, it's a health fair for families, and there is 20 agencies. It's going to be located on Saturday, September 21st from 10 to 2. It will be at the Senior Center, Nick Rodriguez Community Center, and I think for parents, if you're listening, this would be great for you to come and see all the nonprofits that are working with your children or trying to give you support. Okay, thank you. And our next meeting, it won't be until September, 25th? 25th? Okay, at this point, close the meeting. Go ahead.
Is it okay? Maybe I'll make the suggestion, and maybe you or Trustee Hernandez. Tomorrow starts, or in 3 days, we have Latino Heritage Month starting.
Oh, I know, starts.
And would it be appropriate to close the meeting?
Oh, yes.
Just a thought.
Well, close the meeting in
honor of.
In honor of all the different countries that are receiving their celebration for their independence. And I welcome that. We start on the 15th of September and go on for the whole month until October. It's a whole month project. Some of our schools will be dressed. I know that some schools, I know that Fremont, I think, was going to do it. And then Marsh is doing it. I'm not sure of the other schools, but they usually, parents dress in their traditional clothing and greet the children, and it's a good way of opening the culture. So thank you for bringing that up. I almost forgot.
You guys can do the honor.
I shouldn't forget.
Well, no.
All right, at this time, we'll close the meeting. Oh, Antonio, you owe us 2 books.
I will, yes. I'll bring 2 books next time.
You need a motion.
A motion to close, I'm sorry.
I move adjournment.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Okay, take a roll call.
Okay. Trustee Lathan?
Yes.
Trustee Lewis?
Yes.
Vice President Rocha?
Yes.
President Hernandez?
Yes.
Correct. Great. Go.